Welcome to Business Talk, our weekly University of Rio Grande podcast show. We are here at the University of Rio Grande television studio. Each week we feature a Southern Ohio small business or student faculty administrator at the University of Rio Grande. We also feature program managers from the Ohio State University South Centers, Southern Ohio Community Economic and Development Programs, and community organizations and other special guests. Our mission is simple: to promote the University of Rio Grande and its diverse educational programs, promote the Ohio State University South Centers and its many business technology programs, and finally promote Southern Ohio, a great place to live, learn, and enjoy life to the fullest. Our co-hosts are Jason Winters, Director of the Center for Small Business Entrepreneurship, Patrick Dengel.
Yeah, both Patrick and Jason are on assignment.
Special assignment this week, somewhere climbing the Great Wall of China or something.
Yeah.
And also we have Patrick Dengel, Business Development Specialist, both with the University of Rio Grande. Here we have Mike Thompson, Director of the Instructional Design and Media Services, and myself, Nate Walzer, MBA student at the University of Rio Grande. This week we have a great show. We feature Lisa Merry, owner of the Merry Family Wineries in Bidwell, Ohio.
Thanks, Nate.
Yep. Lisa, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my goodness. Well, my husband and I have owned and operated our small business since 2006. I am a University of Rio Grande alumni.
Ooh.
I graduated from the nursing program, from the ADM program and the BSN program. So I have 2 degrees from University of Rio Grande.
So nursing drove you into making wine,
Yeah, clearly.
So what got you started into the wine business?
Oh, goodness. Well, it's always been a family hobby, but Tim and I kind of grew it to the next level, so to speak. We made friends years ago with a gentleman. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he owned a small winery in West Virginia. And one day, as we were returning from visiting him and getting some winemaking supplies, we decided on the way home, you know what? Let's plant some vines. Let's do this. So we immediately started looking at the types of vines we wanted to plant, and basically forming a business plan and setting the goals. That was back in 2000. So.
Okay, because you were a nurse.
Yeah.
And he was in what?
My husband.
Construction, heavy equipment.
Construction. He's a operating engineer. So yeah, he worked on a lot of the big interstate jobs in Columbus, the 160 interchange, and so.
And now you guys do nothing but the winery.
That's correct.
And was that a good decision?
It was.
Okay, so in starting or maybe finding the different wines or the grapes that grow here, what ones do you grow? Maybe what ones were consideration or not?
Okay. Well, goodness, we grow Cabernet Sauvignon, we grow Riesling, we grow Concord, Niagara, we grow Catawba, we have some Hemrod, some Cuyahoga, Frontenac, and we just planted some Marquette, which is the grandson of Pinot Noir. And what we looked at was what's going to be cold hardy enough for our area because it gets cold. Not all vines can tolerate the cold weather. Some do better than others. Mm-hmm. So we have some vinifera, we have some hybrids, which the hybrids are from the University of Minnesota. So they're very cold hardy and they really tolerate our climate really well.
If they can tolerate Minnesota, then they'll do fine here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so do you make all of, well, is all of your grapes in your wine, or do you need more?
Actually, we use everything that we grow, of course. There are some things that we don't grow that we do purchase. Pinot Noir, not a grape that really likes our climate, not really cold hardy, it's very particular about the soil that it likes to grow in. So There are folks that grow it in Ohio. However, it's not really one of those vines that really likes our area. So we opted not to put the expense into growing those particular vines, and we do purchase those grapes.
So what kind of soil or conditions do grapes like? I mean, should you plant it on a bottomland? Should they be dry or wet, or what do they like?
Really, the vines like dry. They like the red clay, yellow clay that we have here in our county. They like some of the shale that they have in some of the other counties here in Ohio. They do tend to prefer the more hillside with the really good drainage. So there's not something that you would want to plant in a bottom area that gets a lot of water and holds a lot of water. You really want good drainage.
Mm-hmm. So, do you take your shoes off and stomp the grapes out, or what kind of process do you have after you've grown them? You yourself go out and pick the grapes. Right?
We do. We harvest those. They're hand harvested from our vines. We get family, friends, and that sort of thing.
Is there certain types a year when you guys have to go out and do it, or is it just when you plant them, it's 3 months later and you go out and do that, or is it you can only do it in February? Or I mean, just
that's a great question. That's a great question because a lot of people don't realize how it does work. How
Because I have no idea how the wine process is. I just am really familiar with the final product.
He knows how to put it away.
Okay. Well, what happens is generally when you plant your vines, you don't get a harvest. You could, but if you're growing these and you want the longevity from the vine, you will for 3 to 5 years, you will go through, and in the spring you will take those little clusters and take the flowers off of the vine so that they don't produce. And basically what happens is that allows the vine to become better established, more hardy, more vigorous. It really is able to get the rooting system into the soil and get the nutrients it needs to grow a nice vine.
So when you plant the vine, you have to almost take care of it for 3 to 5 years before you can even get any products out of it whatsoever.
That is correct. If you want production, if you do it that way, then when you do harvest years later, you get the production from that vine and you get longevity from the vine. So some of the vines may last 100 years or even longer if you treat them the right way up front.
So, okay, that would lead into the next thing. If you were, when you got the idea of starting a winery, what's the lead time? Okay, you're working as a nurse and you've got from the first vine planted until you have someone sitting and enjoying your wine and your actual winery and you're established. How long is that?
We planted our first vines in 2000. So we opened our winery in December of 2006. So we had that much time invested to get our vines mature, get our initial harvest off, allow the wine that we did produce a little bit of time to age, then be able to put that in a glass and have it in a sellable package for folks.
Okay. So the expense of starting a winery, how many vines would you have to start out with?
We started out with, that first year we planted a little over 2,000 vines. Then we continued to add each year.
And they're not a quarter a piece.
No, they are not a quarter a piece.
Yeah.
They range in price from a couple dollars from the nursery up to your more expensive $5-7 per vine, depending on the variety.
So you took a hillside and planted 2,000 at one time?
2,000 in the first planting, in 2000, a little over 2,000 vines.
Right.
Then each year we added vines. And this year we planted 400 more, so we're still planting. We planted 400 Marquette this spring. So
about starting that stuff, you just can't start mashing the grapes and fermenting and doing all that stuff without the government getting a little regulation in there?
Right.
Who do you have to get through or past? Federal, state, what, you know?
Both. The process is you get your basic permit from the feds, from the federal government, from the TTB, which is the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Division. And that can be lengthy.
Mm-hmm.
That can take a while. So you submit your paperwork to them. Once they have your paperwork, it may take up to 6 months before you get something back from them. Years ago, it used to be a little quicker turnaround, but this most recently, that's about the average turnaround. Look around 6 months or so. Once you get your approvals back from the federal government, then you would submit all that paperwork to the state that the state requires. Then once the state has approved it, then you're able to begin the process of actually making wine. You can't really do that until you have the approval from both entities.
Okay, if you know, say if I had a few vines or whatever, what's the limit that I could make before I would get in trouble? If I'm just making it for home consumption, is it when I sell it or what?
For a home winemaker, you can make, I believe it is 200 gallons for personal consumption, I believe is
Okay.
what the number is.
And you better not sell it, probably.
Right, that's bootlegging.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have rules against that.
Yeah, they don't like that very much.
They don't like that.
Government has to get their part.
Right, absolutely.
Why did you guys choose to start your winery in Bidwell, of all places? I mean, Southern Ohio. I mean, there's a lot going on. You guys are probably pretty local, but what really was your target there?
Well, actually, we are local, and why not? Why not right here in our backyard? Back before the settlers came to our area, right here in Gallia County, it is documented that the Indians were here and they were actually growing vines and making their own wine right here in our county. And some of the streets have names such as Grape Street, Vine Street.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is? It's because back in the day, those streets actually probably had vines growing on them.
Yeah, it's true. I never even thought about that before.
Yeah, and why not? We love this area. This is where we're from. This is where we were born and raised. In the West Virginia, Ohio area, right here in our little tri-county cluster. A great place to have a winery. Yeah.
As it went over well?
I think so. We do have a local following. The bulk of our business, I will say, are tourists. We are right there on 35, and we do capture a lot of those folks traveling on the road there. But we do have our local following as well.
How many wineries are there in Ohio? I mean, you don't think of Ohio and think wine. You think California or whatever. But how many wine producers do you have in Ohio?
I think we are approaching around 160-ish at last count. We went to one of the Ohio Winery Association has some different educational programs each year. We attended in February, and I believe at that conference they were quoting around 160 in number.
And growing or stable?
And growing, because each year more folks are opening wineries. People are in the process of planning wineries, so that will continue to grow. And it's funny that you mentioned, Mike, that when you think grape growing, you tend to think California and those regions. Back before the Civil War and Prohibition, Ohio was actually a larger grape producer than California, and had not Prohibition and the Civil War, which wiped out the vines, who knows what may have happened. But basically, Civil War and Prohibition kind of ended Ohio's reign in the wine production and winemaking, and it wasn't until in the 1950s before Ohio basically got back into the winemaking business, so to speak.
How many different wines or varieties or flavors do you guys have?
We make 20-something different wines. We have that many labels approved. We, at any given time, have close to that number because we do have some seasonal wines that we age and bottle just once a year. We have a cranberry, we have a late harvest Riesling, and so those we don't always have year round. We generally bottle those in the fall, and generally they're gone by first of the year.
Yeah, I've been over there once or twice, and I have to say their wines are very approachable by someone who is not necessarily a wine drinker.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're just a very friendly. Most of them, I'd say, are sweet.
We have a large variety of sweet. We do have the drier, and we have some semi-dries and semi-sweets. But the sweet wines are what pays the bills. That most of the folks that walk in our door, that's what they're looking for.
Now, when you mentioned before, you said you have a bunch of different labels approved. What do you mean? You have to actually say, I want to sell this kind of wine, and then have the approved by somebody?
Correct. The federal government and the state both have to receive our paperwork, an actual copy of the label, and in some cases review our recipe and approve the recipe, or they call it formula is what they call it. And so yeah, all of that has to go through the federal government. Once the federal government has approved it, then we send that paperwork on to the state for their approval, and you cannot use that label until both of those entities have approved your label.
Gotcha.
And again, that can be a lengthy process.
Yeah,
it's not a fast process.
What are they looking for on the label?
They want to make sure, they want to make sure that you have the government warning on there with regard to consuming alcohol and driving, or consuming alcohol and being pregnant. So your typical warning that you would see on any alcohol-related product. They also want to make sure that you've got your information on there. The alcohol content must be on there. So that sort of thing. And they also want to make sure that you don't have anything misleading on your label as well, like this cures cancer.
Oh, right.
Or some claim that's completely unfounded. So that's also part of it, to protect the consumer from claims that your product's going to do something special for them, when in reality
this product
that's not
provides happiness.
Right. Now that probably could be substantiated.
Okay, I had a question. I can't remember exactly what it was. There's something.
I'm not really sure what you're getting at.
Let's see. Where you first opened, was that a wet or dry township or area?
That was a dry township, and we are still in a dry township.
Okay.
How does that go over? Are you allowed to serve alcohol at the winery?
We are. We grow the product. It's agricultural, and so because of that, we are exempt from certain regulations. It's not like it's a bar. It's not like it's a liquor store. It's completely different because we grew the product, we processed the product, we bottled it, and we sell it, of course.
I knew there was some confusion about that, but I guess if you look at it sort of like, the farm that sells tomatoes by the side of the road.
Correct.
It's that sort of business.
Absolutely.
It's not a bar business.
Yeah,
Correct.
You're not going there just to sit there and order bottles of wine and drink them.
That's
yeah,
right.
I don't see,
see that happen.
crowds that, are leaving and puking and sloppy drunk. It's a very civilized environment.
Absolutely. It's a completely different clientele than you would see at a bar type setting.
Do you do anything else in your building? Yeah, I know you've got the dancing and stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was. That's what
other things happening
We
there
do.
other than just coming in and.
Absolutely, we do. We have line dancing every Thursday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And so if you want to learn how to dance, that happens every Thursday. So
It's like a barn dance.
it is.
there.
It's like a barn dance because it's up on the second floor, and a great place to come if you're a person who's interested in learning how to do some of the dances that they do at the local bars and such. That's the place to come. They'll teach you how to do some of those dances. We also on Friday night have catered pasta dinner from a local diner from Gallipolis. And that's on Friday night from 6 to 8. And then Saturday night from 6 to 8, we have barbecue. And again, that is catered by a local barbecue vendor from Gallia County.
So people have stopped there and thought that a winery is a restaurant.
Yes, because there are some wineries that do have restaurant facilities in them. However, ours is not, and it does not say restaurant on our building.
But people can cater.
Absolutely.
And you could go there, have a bottle of wine amongst you and your friends or family, and order a pizza in.
Absolutely. We have several different pizza establishments that deliver. Pizza Plus will deliver, Domino's delivers, Papa John's delivers, and also you can bring your favorite takeout and bring your own picnic. We have plenty of area on the property where you can go and have quiet time, enjoy your bottle of wine, have your picnic. We also have local cheeses from Laurel Valley Creamery and other Ohio-made cheeses. So if you wanted to come and have some wine and cheese, plenty of opportunity to do that on the winery premises. Enjoy your wine, have some cheeses, and visit and enjoy yourself.
Okay, so a person is not very aware of what, maybe they're beginning and tasting wines or whatever, or maybe they just have been around. You can not necessarily take a tour of your facility, but people go to different wineries and taste their wines. What's the process for tasting? Is there a charge for it? Is there a certain amount that you can taste, or what?
Absolutely. In Ohio, they have regulations on how we can do tasting. So it's illegal to give away alcohol in Ohio. So there is a charge for tasting. We charge 50 cents a sample. Other wineries charge different fees. It's completely based on, their product and what they're sampling out. Also, we're limited on the amount of ounces that we can sample out. So at our winery, what we do is we allow you 8 samples, and you can pick from our long, extensive list of different wine varieties that we make. And so it's 50 cents a sample. You can pick up to 8 different samples. But yes, there are regulations that we have to follow, even with the wine sampling under Ohio law and Ohio regulations.
Okay.
Some of the other states are a little different. Like a lot of customers will say, well, when I go to Tennessee, they don't charge me. Well, the laws are different in Tennessee and West Virginia compared to Ohio. So.
Have you been out there?
I have been out there. I've been out there with one of my friends, and we went and had a picnic, and we got a bottle of wine, and we sat there and did it, and it was awesome. It was great. We enjoyed it. We walked around a bit, and it was a really good time. It was really relaxed. Spent an entire Saturday afternoon there. It was very nice.
There's like picnic tables, outside area. You've got a couple indoor areas with tables, chairs. I don't know if you do events.
We do.
Can you rent the place or not?
Absolutely. We're kind of selective about who we allow to rent, but we have rented out the premises for weddings, baby showers, bridal showers, those kinds of things, birthday parties. And again, we have rules that we have to follow with regard to that, but we have had different events as those.
Like, you probably could not bring in your own. Like if I wanted to bring a bottle of whiskey or a 6-pack of beer.
No, that is true. You cannot bring your own alcohol to our premises under Ohio law. We can only have the alcohol that we make on premises. So.
And I don't know why you'd want to bring anything else. I mean, everything you have is right there.
Yeah, there's enough of a selection. I'm sure you'll find something that you like.
Yeah.
Well, and we are working on some new projects. Always check back with the winery because we're always releasing new wines. We have some other projects, and I know Mike and I have talked about some of the new projects we're working on. Unfortunately, can't talk about them today yet, but hopefully someday you guys might be able to have me back and we can discuss some of the new things that we're working on at the winery. But there's some great things hopefully coming soon. Some different things that we'll be doing at the winery.
Where can I check on that? Where are your outlets?
Okay, well, we are on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. We have a website.
Is it called the Merry Family Winery?
Merry Family Winery, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Facebook page is probably the most up to date. We do have a web page. The turnaround time, because that is done for me by an outside vendor, so the turnaround time sometimes is a little slow for them to get the information out when I send the information to them. Also, I have an email list, and I send out emails to folks that are on our email list, and generally our Facebook friends and the folks on the email list tend to be the first to know what's going on. As things happen, we release a new wine, or we have a seasonal wine, or an event going on at the winery, we tend to use those social media to get the word out.
How do I become a member on the newsletter list?
On the email list?
Yeah. Just go to the website.
Just go to the website. There's a little tab you can click on, and you can join our email.
What was the website address?
It is www.merryfamilywinery.com.
Okay, that's easy to remember.
Yeah, merryfamilywinery.com.
And you have a third member to your crew, don't you?
We do. That would be Nikki. She's quite a celebrity, Nikki Mary. She is our English Mastiff. Most of the folks come to the winery to see her.
Yeah.
Then the wine is secondary. Her title is Vice President of Vineyard Pest Management. So she's in charge of keeping the animals out of the vineyard.
When you said that to me before, I thought that was an actual person who had that title, and I was trying to figure out what that meant.
She is our English Mastiff. She is...
she's a very friendly, lovable little dog.
She is. She's a good girl. And the customers, she thinks everybody's there to see her. Mm-hmm. And most times the customers, that is the first thing when they enter the door, they'll ask, "Where's Nikki at?" So then the wine comes second.
Yeah. And she's usually... during certain times when you're serving food, she's behind the counter. And
absolutely,
all that kind of thing.
She's not able to be out and about to visit everyone, and for some customers that's disappointing. But we try to keep her back and let folks enjoy themselves. So.
Mm-hmm.
I take it you've been there quite often.
Yeah, I know Nikki. I brought my little doggy over to play and romp with her a little bit, but. Yeah, she's a good addition, and a lot of wineries do have a animal mascot or somebody who hangs out there.
Most of them do. A lot of them do. A lot of them have dogs like we do. Not the same breed, meaning, but a lot of wineries have, and not just for hostess being hostess or but also for pest management as well. So they are working members of the business, just like Nikki is a working member.
Yeah, I can tell when she goes on the clock at about 10 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
Lights come on in the door and
right. She she wears several different hats. She also is a sentry dog. Excuse me. So she also has duties as guard as well as hostess and pest management.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got a little under 90 seconds. Is there something else you wanted to talk about?
Absolutely. I just want to remind everybody to please support your local businesses, especially those local agricultural businesses, all businesses, but especially those agricultural businesses, because, we're out there, we're tending our product and making our product and hopefully offering up something that's fresh and healthy and good for our customers.
So we've got a winery and we've got
cheese
and coffee.
Line dancing.
Yeah.
Lots to do at the winery.
So go visit Merry Family Winery. It's right off the 850 exit of Route 35. Go have a tasting. I'm sure that they can make suggestions of what you might like, if you like dry or sweet or anything like that. So thanks for coming in and talking with us, Lisa.
Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Okay, and I'm Mike Thompson.
I'm Nate.
And thanks for watching.